Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess, and today is February 4th, 2016. In the past 24 hours, I have done a series of videos, and there are 5 of them that I cannot help but connect them together. And I think it is extremely important that you see the dots that I am connecting. And if you feel it's nothing, great. I hope it isn't. I feel it is extremely important. The first video in this series that I did is titled, Who Are the Thugs in the Streets of Burns? It was about the checkpoints and these people who are in the streets here not wearing any uniforms. They're basically a ragtag bunch of people. They look like thugs to me. So I'll let you hear a little bit of this video and then we'll move on to the next one.
Sheriff's office right there if you'd like to go talk to him.
Okay, and are you state police or sheriff?
Excuse me?
Are you state police or sheriff?
We are here supporting the sheriff and his activities.
Police or sheriff?
We are here supporting the sheriff and his activities.
Or sheriff?
We are here supporting the sheriff and his activities.
So are you a police officer?
We are both law enforcement officers, sir.
Okay, but what,
We're not here to answer questions about media. If you have more questions, you can call that number. We are here supporting the sheriff and his activities.
So are you a police officer?
We are both law enforcement officers, sir.
Okay, but what,
We're not here to answer questions about media. If you have more questions, you can call that number.
Think about it. Okay, I did that video and I was saying, think about it. If these people were in your streets just wearing just anything, any old thing, you could buy military grade garb anywhere and have an assault rifle, go block off a street and shoot people off if you want. So that was my first video. Now the second video, okay, I was on the comment section actually of this video that I did, Thugs in the Streets of Burns. I was talking to people, getting their opinion on what they thought about it. And this girl in the video stated, the other guy in the video isn't speaking. I wonder if he even speaks English. Well, her comment disappeared right before our eyes, okay? So I commented, so it looks like you may have hit a nerve. The other guy doesn't even say anything. It makes you wonder if he speaks English. Right after I typed that in, I swear, after I typed that in, my Mozilla Firefox browser crashed, okay? But the comment is still there, okay? Now the next video, we're going to move on. This is Judge Darby contacts U.S. military Major General on bringing in U.S. military. Reports French banking cartel has employed operatives acting falsely as FBI agents. The Major General reports he has escalated the matter. Okay? And I did do another video as well, but I'm not even bringing that into it. This video is titled Breaking Judge Says French Mercs Posing as FBI in Burns. Okay? So I did that video. And the next video I did is there was a fighter jet. Some guy commented and I asked him if I could upload this. He said he's in Burns and he took it and I uploaded it. Okay? Fighter jet in Burns. That was on February 1st when he filmed the fighter jet. Now this next video, I just happened, and I never do this really, I just happened to be going through videos and I came across this video. And I'll let you hear it.
We can kill you any way we want. Up close, kiss you, whatever we want. Green Berets are the only ones trained in unconventional warfare and counterinsurgency. SEALs are not, Marines are not, we are. We are the premier military force. Period.
Are you saying they're mixing all the armies? They're bringing in the Russians and the
Yes,
Chinese
they are.
to kill us?
Yes, they are.
Are you saying they're mixing all the armies? They're bringing in the Russians and the
Yes,
Chinese
they are.
to kill us?
Yes, they are.
Are you saying they're mixing all the armies? They're bringing in the Russians and the
Yes,
Chinese
they are.
to kill us?
Now she just said, she asked a question. Are you saying they're bringing all the armies together and they're bringing the Russian and the Chinese all together to kill us? He said, yes, they are. You heard it, okay? It's kind of crazy. Now, here's the next video. This is General Boykin. I want you to hear him. He's a Green Beret as well.
I'm a Special Forces officer. I'm a Green Beret, and I've studied Marxist insurgency. It was part of my training. And the things that I know that have been done in every Marxist insurgency are being done in America today. The first thing that has happened when people like Fidel Castro have moved their societies towards Marxism is they've nationalized major sectors of the economy. Folks, that's what the bailouts were, nationalizing major sectors of the economy. The second thing they've done is they've redistributed wealth. We've heard enough about the redistribution of wealth. And in fact, the man that was appointed to handle Medicaid and Medicare after he was seated in the office actually stood up and said publicly that health care was nothing but a redistribution of wealth. The third thing that they do is they discredit their opposition. Now, I've never been so angry with my government as when a Department of Homeland Security memorandum went around to law enforcement all over the country saying that the future threats to America were right-wing Christian groups, pro-life groups, Second Amendment groups, and returning veterans. I'm still angry about that. But it never said Islamic terrorist. That's discrediting the opposition, the very groups that would stand up and protest the things that they see happening in our country. The fourth thing that has been done in the model is censorship. Now, it's kind of irrelevant with regards to the media because the most of the mainstream media is already on the left and is already very much in favor of the things that we see happening in America. But the hate crimes legislation that has been passed is actually targeted at pastors. It's targeted at pastors so that they don't get up in the pulpit and talk about things like homosexuality and same-sex marriage, or about the realities of Islam and the danger that Islam presents to America. The hate crimes legislation is meant to suppress them, to censor them, which is part of the Marxist model. The next thing that was done in every society was that gun ownership had to be controlled. We hold the Second Amendment to be very important to us as Americans, the right to bear arms. But in a Marxist movement, you have to control that gun ownership. I don't know if you've seen it, but there has been a decree by the administration, by the President and the Secretary of State, saying that our President will sign the United Nations Small Arms Treaty, which is about how we will buy, sell, and control individual private weapons. Body will decide how you and I.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because what happened in the murder of Lavoie was a big setup, and most people, you can see it. Most of the people that probably subscribe to me, you guys are very well aware of what's going on. But I will reiterate, just to tie this into a bow, that roadblock on that highway was to, this was for gun legislation, period. This was for gun legislation. They thought that Lavoie Finicum would get out of that vehicle with a gun in the air shooting back at them because he had been shot at the first roadblock. They were shooting at the vehicle at the first roadblock. I believe they were shooting at the vehicle at the second roadblock as he was driving down the road. I've heard the testimony. And I believe that they did the shooting at the vehicle because they wanted to Lavoie to fire back. They wanted to push him into that to get this gun legislation done because they are on steroids doing this land grab and they are off schedule. The schedule for this Agenda 21 land grab was planned for a couple years ago, and they are off schedule. And I believe it needs to be done for some reason before the yen is the global currency. So, listen to a little bit more of what Boykin has to say here.
As Americans can buy and sell our weapons, how we control those weapons, who's authorized to have those weapons, and where they are. This is a dangerous trend. And the final thing that is done in the Marxist model is societies like Cuba, like Venezuela today, like Russia under Stalin, or China under Mao Zedong. Things they have done, the final thing has been actually to develop a constabulary force, a force that can control the population. You say, well, we don't have that. Well, let me remind you that prior to the election, the president stood up and said that if elected, he would have a national civilian security force. For what? Remember, Hitler had the brown shirts.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So you heard Boykin. Now, between this, what is his name? The Major General, I forgot his name. Sergeant General, Sergeant Major, I don't know. Anyway, between this guy that did this video here, him, and Boykin, I believe everything they're saying. They, in my opinion, are very well and highly respected men. I don't believe for a second that they would steer us wrong. I believe they know exactly what they're talking about, and I believe they've been warning us for years. And it was so hard to see back then. It was so hard, it's so hard for me to imagine 6 months ago that there are actual mercenaries. I believe wholeheartedly that these guys here are mercenaries. And I don't even know, this guy might not be American. He may just speak fluent English. Who knows? But these are not, I don't believe they're soldiers. I don't know. I just still cannot see an American doing that on American soil. I have never been in the military though, and I don't know. So I just thought I would tie these all together. So to recap, you have these guys, ragtag military guys in the street, don't have to answer to who they are. They say that they're police officers. Well, you know, they say they're representing the sheriff. Well, what the heck? And a sheriff who was put in 2 days before this whole incident happened at the wildlife refuge. Keep that in mind. The governor was placed in, was not voted in. Then you have this, when the girl says, they don't speak English, and then she writes, my question is gone. What happened? You've got this, and some people are laughing at this. I don't believe it. Well, I do. I do. When you look at all these together, when you tie them up in a bow, it really fits. You got fighter jets flying overhead, and then you got this guy giving a big, huge warning sign to every one of us. And my next step in the equation is to look him up and see if I can find if he's done anything lately. Anybody knows where he is or what he's doing, or if there's any speeches that he's given lately. I'd love to hear him. And of course, you got Boykin here. He knows what he's talking about. He was Green Beret. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that. You take it any way you want it, but when things like this add up to me, I have to bring it to someone's attention to let them know. Anyway, this is Call of Duty Goddess, and as always, I've got your 6.